Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another special video. Now as you can see on your screen, we are joined once again by Stevie from Four Lads Had a Dream. How's it going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing much better now that we can actually talk about real football things, mate. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's makes a change. Transfer rumours, players getting released, kit deals, sponsorship. Yeah, it's good to be able to talk about Rangers again.
It is, mate. It is indeed. Now, there's been a lot of excitement, obviously, from Rangers Football Club and the fans. We've been talking about the Castore deal, the historic deal that Rangers and everything's been reported. And as you've actually spoken to the man himself, Stevie, I thought we get you on, we discuss it, and you can let the people know, the people that's on this channel who tunes in, to find out a wee bit more information about this deal, because you know for a fact there's loads of misinformation all over the place, but now the club, Castore's been fantastic with that as well. They're speaking directly to fan media outlets and they've spoken to you. So I thought, let's get on, let's break down the deal and give the people what they need to know.
Yeah, spoke to Tom on Monday, and I was pretty conscious. I wanted to really push him on certain aspects of the deal. I wanted to know about the megastore, fan zone. I wanted to know about the finances, because there's been a lot of claims made. Yeah. 25 million is a fee that's been mooted, possibly going to the highest possible deal in Scotland. Things like that. That's really rich claims. So I wanted to really push him on that. I think I have done that. Today's blog, which you can find obviously at Four Lads Had a Dream, and it details everything. So yeah, I mean, he was very forthcoming, very honest. I said to him beforehand, I said, if you can be transparent with the support, that's key to a good relationship, because if you tell us that the megastore is ready by the 30th August and it's not, but then we don't hear anything for 3 weeks, people will lose trust. But if you just come out and say, look, in this climate, we weren't able to do it, then, you know, it'll be ready. We hope to have it ready by then. And he understood that. So I think that transparency is key, trying to deliver the product as well. And we covered everything. He was, as I said, he was very, very honest and very open about everything.
And what I really like about you, Stevie, is you're a bit like myself. You want to just get straight in there. You want to find out the deeper answers. You didn't want to just go for some of the stuff other people may ask of you. You want to go straight to the point. You want to know, because you're just a fan. You're a fan like us. You want to know the exact details, and that's exactly what you did, mate. You dove right in, and I was just sitting there with a big smile on my face. I was like, well, and Stevie, I like that, mate.
Well, people will be able to hear the actual podcast recording of it tomorrow. It's about 25, 26 minutes long. So I kind of went for the option that, or the angle that people would ask obvious questions. And I had watched what others had kind of done and decided, well, this is what I want to do, because this is vital points that we haven't really covered. The finances was the big thing. That's what people want to know. We all want to know what pennies we're getting from anything. So that was the one. I think we've clarified that going forward. So yeah, it was good. It was very insightful, and he's kept the line of correspondence open for us. I can now contact him. I can clarify things. So it's quite good. You know, I'm not going to pick up the phone every 2 minutes and say, look, Davey from Clydebank hasn't got his top yet, Tom, what's going on? But more important things, like we can go to him and say, well, this is the feedback from the fan base. We're not got a specific thing in stock enough. Because remember, like last year, previous deals, you could never get the orange training kits and all that. And I've spoken to him about things like that. I've spoken to him about the kind of need for. We had 40,000 orders in the first 3 or 4 days, and I've said to him quite honestly, how are you going to handle that? So there's a designated team within Castore now. So Castore as a brand have their own little Rangers factory, their own little Rangers team, everything dedicated towards Rangers. So it's like a separate company within the company. That's how it was explained to me. So we should have basically 24-hour, service and somebody to go and speak to. So they've been good. Everything they've said is promising. So it's now about, as he said, it's about proving it. So he's got to sit back and wait and see. But I'm confident. I'm very, very optimistic.
Yeah, and I love this new approach and just speaking directly to the fans and letting us know the exact facts, because we know it likes to get sensationalised and everything elsewhere, and people like to make up lies and everything. But now they're actually coming, giving us the truth. It's just refreshing me. I'm really actually enjoying being able to talk about it. Now, one of the questions, because I obviously covered it on Sunday when the statement came out, we discussed it here on the channel, kind of they sort of brief out points. It was commented by Castore and on the Rangers official website, which we linked in the description. One of the main questions that kept coming back in the comment section, and I want to fire it to you because you actually got an answer for this, is what's going to happen now with the Hummel's training centre? Because that was a good discussion. It was in the comments from Sunday night's video. A lot of people asking now, obviously we're moving away from Hummel, we're no longer in that deal. So what's happening? Is Castore going to go take this name? What's actually going to happen with the training centre?
Well, the training centre has been renamed. It is now Rangers Training Centre, or a slight variation of that, but that's what it's now known as. Hummel have completely been removed from that. Hummel and Elite deal runs out at the end of July, but for all purposes is gone, null and voided. I pressed them on that. I said, so is there an opportunity? The question actually was a bit twofold. It was to do with the fan zone as well.
Yeah.
The first part of it was, are you then going to take up the rights for the training ground? Which he said he wasn't. It wasn't an immediate priority of Castore. It wasn't something that they had kind of looked into. What he said was he wanted to get the fundamental parts of it right first. So he wants the kit, he wants the megastore, he wants the fan zone. These are the vital things. Once that functions, once the merchandises function, he can look at other things, including the training centre. But for the moment, the answer is no. It's not going to be Castore Training Centre, but it could be 6 months, a year down the line. At the moment, it will remain as the Rangers Training Centre. And the second part of that, then, I asked him was, is Castore going to be a fan zone? Is it going to be a Castore fan zone? To which he said, yes, that's an immediate priority of his to have up and running by the time we're back there. In normal kind of circumstances, that would be August or whatever, but obviously it's not going to be at this moment. But that is a number one priority. So we are going to have a Castore fan zone. Didn't push him on that anymore. We kind of had 30 minutes. I got the impression that Tom could have spoke for as long as I wanted, but I was a bit conscious of, I'm just Stevie, from Four Lads. Like, I'm not wanting 2 hours of his time, although I could have took it, asking him the intricacies of everything. But no, he was very forthcoming on that. But the training centre, just to reiterate, is not going to be a Castore training centre. Certainly not straight away.
One of the things I took away from it as well, I really like, and I said this in Sunday's video, they have a clear vision. They're not just coming in and just answering maybe questions and just saying aye to appease the fans and say, we're going to do this. They've actually got a clear vision in mind, and they've put that out there and they're sticking to it. They're saying they've got a certain way they want to get up and running first, and then they could look at the training centre again, but it's not a priority. The priority is to get the foundations right to make this partnership, is what Tom actually said, as successful as possible. And I really like that. They're not just sort of giving us wee pillow talk and saying, I will do this and do this. They've got a clear vision in mind. And I just love the fact that we've got a partner so strong and come out and can actually say that.
Well, one of the key phrases he used, and has been, again, something I wanted to press him on, is he said that Rangers were going to be the centre of their footballing world. That's a bold claim.
Yep.
But this is their only venture into football so far. So they want to monopolise. They've got massive dreams of becoming the biggest British kind of sponsorship retailer, etc. Making things. So to do that, they want like a kind of maiden voyage, as I say. They want us basically to be their benchmark. So this is what we've done with Glasgow Rangers, who beforehand had terrible merchandise deals or whatever. But this is what we did. And they've spoke about everything. They've got design teams doing things like bedding, curtains, towels, everything. And we actually laughed about it. And I said to him, if you put a bin on it with Rangers logo, it'll sell out. Because that's what we're like. Remember the ducks, the toasters? We commented on all that.
Duck in there.
Exactly. So, you know what it's like, mate. If it's there, we'll buy it. So, he was very good. He was very good on that. And it's just, I found him just to be transparent. And that's going back to what you said about, if you read Club 1872's statement yesterday on the Daily Record and the Sunday Mail, and the lengths they went to in order just to publicise something that's fake anymore. Rangers don't want that anymore. Their eyes have been opened. We've got new kind of PR guidelines and things like that, and something that we're going to benefit. We've spoken about this already. Something I have benefited from with engagement with the club. So it's been good now. It's transparent. So, for example, just to kind of put it back to the player thing, when we were linked with Dykes and Lewis Ferguson at the weekend, So I could go and ask them and say to him, I know David Edgar on Heart and Hand asked him the same question. He says, look, what's the situation here? And the club were very forthcoming and saying, look, this is an agent-led story. The very next day, Lewis Ferguson was linked with somebody else, so you could see that was actually true. I think the days of media exclusives and things like that are gone. And the Daily Record and the Sunday Mail, what they did in Club 1872's battle against that really highlights that. I mean, that was really bad, really poor taste.
That was disgusting. Yeah, I enjoyed reading Club 1872's statement on that. It was a good one for us all.
And that's a year's work that Laura and everybody's put in over there, because they constantly changed, they lied, they changed their statements, they done everything like that, and that's all in Club 1872's statement. So it's a real eye opener. I would encourage everybody to go and look at it and read just exactly what we're up against in terms of the media. So this new outlook, getting it from the fans, I think just works. People don't listen to. It was Rangers that actually said to me, people don't listen to media or anything anymore. They'll either go to the likes of Heart and Hand, likes of Four Lads, likes of yourself first before they read anything else. So I think that's the future now. So
it definitely is, and we are moving into the future. And something else that's going to be getting spoken about as well as we're talking about moving into the new is obviously the megastore as well, which a hell of a lot of people are really, including myself, because it should be the hub. But we've kind of spoken about that a lot on the channel, so I'm not really going to reiterate everything I've said on it. But it's something I'm really excited in, and especially the more I see Tom actually talk about it and his ideas and what he's planning to do, I honestly can't wait. It's dragging us forward off the park and getting us to where we should be. And can you just maybe let people know, Stevie, some of the things that he's actually planning on doing? Because we obviously know we've seen the £250,000 refurbishment. We spoke about that, but what's actually happening with the megastore? What do they plan to do with
it? From what I gathered from what he said, a complete refurbishment.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll rip it out, they'll relay it from decor, everything. And it's all going to be on point. So every store that they open or everything that they do, it's all going to be the same decor. It's all going to be the same theme. It's all going to be on point. So we'll now have an identity when we go into a shop. We'll have, when you go into a shop, Manchester or whatever, and then Glasgow, they're going to be the same. So it'll be the same outlook and the same kind of setup in all of them. And that's in the structure. He says that's important to have our own identity, which I agree with. Mega plans for all sorts of retail stuff, from, as we said, ducks, toasters. And this is just areas where we've just failed, and it's been really poor quality. Mm-hmm. His intention is to kind of up that. We know that when the strips come out, there's going to be the actual player issue ones, and then there's going to be the replica ones. So these are things to bring us in line with the other biggest clubs, like Manchester United, who he spoke about, Liverpool, who he spoke about, Real Madrid, Milan. That's where they've researched. I was in the Old Trafford store just in November there. We went down to watch Chelsea versus Man City, and we took in the Old Trafford tour. And their megastore is absolutely sensational. It's massive, loads of retro stuff, loads of historic items, and it's just really impressive. 5 or 6 tills on the go all the time. Constant people buying stuff. That's his vision for Rangers. That's what he wants for our megastore. This days of going in and trying to get your shirt printed and all that, and there was one wee guy with a press. He doesn't want that. He wants 5 or 6 guys, and that's his vision for us. So it's just, he's got 250,000 which they've put in. So I think it's going to be, in terms of, it'll be an immediate revamp with an eye to possibly in the future having things maybe in Edmiston House and things like that. So that's basically, I was obviously enthusiastic by what you had to say about the megastore. So
definitely, because some people. Oh, sorry, Stevie.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it's got to be key. See, when we're going to games and we're looking to our left or our right, walking past that, going into the Copeland or wherever we're going, and we can't go in, or it's all paint is terrible and it looks awful, and somebody's gone in and you're basically like boo and all that, exactly. That's what it's like. What I mean? So my wee boys, my wee boys 3 and 4, as you know, I can't take them into the shop when I go to the game. Mm-hmm. But now I'll be able to take them into the shop and buy them all sorts of tat and rubbish. It'll cost me a fortune, but we know then that it's going to the club, so it's definitely something that I want to be proud of, our club shop and merchandise and things. And people that visit the city coming in, where can we go to get Rangers stuff? Now we can tell them. So
exactly. And I like the fact that we're now going to have a identity that spreads wherever. It's not just going to be at this place, it's going to be completely different here. It's going to be a certain structure. And that's some of the questions that we were getting on Sunday from some people. They're saying they're spending this, but are they just going to throw a lucky paint on it? It's going to be the same. It's completely revamping every single aspect and dragging us forward to where the big European clubs actually are. That's what they're going to come in. And that's what I took from the interviews and what I've heard for Tom and everything as well. Speaking of, we have a wee bit of fun one there, Stevie, before I move on. Remember how we're talking about the wee printing the names and stuff like that? I'll never ever forget my dad's face. He went, right, who do you want? And I go, Livenkrantz. I've never seen a face drop because it was £2 a letter. He was like, you know what, Rose? I was like, no, Livenkrantz. He's sitting there like, that was brilliant.
What about PL? Just get PL.
PL. Oh, you want the number as well? I need bother, Craig. I need bother. It's just his face. We'll have the memories again. You can rebuild them and go forward. That's the stuff that always stays with you, and we still laugh about that to this day. But speaking of stuff that we can actually buy, a hell of a lot of questions has been about the third kit, because we know the home kit is going to be blue. We've seen leaks and fake leaks, and I'm really glad the clubs actually came out and says the ones are fake. So we can stop replying to them, Stevie, because I don't know about you, but I was getting asked about a different leak every single day. But there's a discussion about the third kit that people are very excited. Is there any chance from your conversations that the third kit may or may not contain a wee bit of Mandarin? What about that?
Definitely, yeah. I asked them outright again about the colour scheme. Obviously, first one is red, white, and blue, just like the one you're wearing. I don't think they're going to deviate too much from that. I think they're going to be inspired by things that they've seen in the past, which he mentioned. He mentioned guys like Barry Ferguson, Colin Henry, which he remembers lifting trophies and seeing kits. So they're going to base it on that. Away strip, I don't remember him saying too much about that, but I got the impression it would just be kind of normal from what we usually expect. Red, white, and blue in some sort of fashion. The away kit, the third kit rather, I pressed him on. I said to him, we've had orange kits in the past with big sellers. And he says he spoke to the club about that. And it would be a miss not to kind of include that. So I then pressed him further. I says, well, you are we exclusive into the third kit then? Is that something you can tell us? And he said, yeah, it's definitely a step to the hint of the third kit. So he's not going to come out right and say it's orange or whatever, but I get the impression orange and black is where we're going to be at. So it'll be interesting to see what the designs are like. I haven't seen them. I 100% haven't seen them, and I'm glad. I don't want to see them, because then if they do leak, I can say, well, nothing to do with me. So I'm just a fan like everybody else. I look forward to seeing them getting released. And another thing as well, 4 to 6 weeks is when we expect to be able to see them. I think in the next, maybe I get the impression 3 to 4 weeks, people on my jersey will be able to pre-order. So that's the kind of timescales we're looking at, I think.
That's really exciting, because that's, as you can imagine, I'm sure you get it all the time. People are asking about the orange Mandarin kit. They just love to get it. You know what I mean? It's iconic. There's so many good memories with that shirt. Again, Livenkrantz, one of my favourite players of all time. I've got his signed VHS videotaped in there. I can't even play it, Stevie, but it's still there every time I'm
out. Got to keep that, yeah.
You've got to keep that, mate. You've got to keep that. But so that answers that question to everyone that's asked me and everything about the orange kit. I think he's will be happy. I think that's the best way we can actually put it.
Well, that's what he actually said. That was his statement. He says, I think everyone's going to be happy with it. So let's just look forward to it. There's definitely going to be orange in there somewhere. So yeah,
let's be fair. Because it's such a good deal for the club, we're going to buy all of them anyway. we're going to buy them all. Right. So that's the kits then spoken about, and a lot of other things. But there is the business time then, Stevie, and a lot of questions are about this, as you can imagine. I'm sure you're getting a lot of them as well. It's the old financial side of things, and there's a lot of numbers out there, there's a lot of quotes out there, but what's the actual truth? What is this such a great deal for Rangers that it's getting made out to be? Can you confirm that? Can you let the people know watching just how good a deal this is, and what kind of deal is actually on the table for Rangers?
Right, well, by now, CJ, people will be used to me waffling on and giving you a long answer, but this will be a long answer. That was something I was keen to find out, mate, because when you make claims of 25 million over 5 years, people go, wow. When you make claims of possibly the highest deal in Scottish football at the moment, that's another wow factor. I wanted to know, this is me with my serious face on now speaking to him, because I wanted to know exactly what that meant. So Tom was fantastically open, and I think it's pretty clear in the blog, but to reiterate what was said was, my question to him was, is £25 million achievable £5 million a year. He categorically states in quotes that is achievable. £5 million is the minimum of where we should be aiming at. So this is made up by a base payment yearly of £3 million, which Rangers receive. So that means that Rangers have already received £3 million for this season, 2021, as a base payment from Castore. So when Tom talks about they've already put in the money, that's what he means. What he also says is as well is that when you do a deal like this, and say Castore give Rangers £3 million, they normally ask the Rangers to commit to £2.5 million worth of purchases of strips, and Rangers then have to give that back. That's not the case here. Rangers' £3 million profit every year is base minimum level with no outgoings. So after that, the ability for us to hit 5 million, the ability is to hit 6, 7, 8, 9 is all dependent on us and dependent on how well Castore do their business. So if Castore set this up and nail this properly, mate, it could be unlimited. So let's look at it in terms of Elite owed Rangers £3 million for a yearly kind of, or 7, 8, 9 months worth of segment, right? Mm-hmm. If you put that in context of us already receiving £3 million and then potentially making 2, 3 on top of that, that's why the 5 million is achievable. So over 5 years, that's why we're hitting 25 million. I think that 25 million, from what I gathered and what I pressed them on, is the very minimum the club can expect to make on a deal that might be okay, averagely good. If we peak this properly, and I'm talking about ducks, toasters, bins, all sorts of stuff, and we do this right and the service is good, and this is where it goes back to Elite really wanting to nail this for us, because we are their flagship, we're their first venture into football. If they nail this for us and do these profits and then can go and show them to the next teams they go to, here's what we did for Rangers. They made 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 million pounds a year, and that's exact figures that Tom quotes as well. Mm-hmm. You'll hear on the podcast and read in the blog. So to tell people and reiterate again, I'm waffling, I told you I would do it. We're getting 3 million a year baseline, that's guaranteed for 5 seasons. On top of that, the potential to make in total 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, depends on how well we do. £25 million, which has been muted over in the papers and headlines and things like that, is completely accurate as a base, as a conservative guesstimate of where we should be. 15 million Rangers will get just for being in this partnership before even selling a strip or a duck. That's the figures. That's the exact quotation of where we are. So when he says this could be the most highly profitable deal in Scotland, in terms of if we're doing what we did in the 90s, making 9 million a year in merchandising, which what he quoted, I would need to go back and check if that's right. I was only a wee nipper then and we were good, so he didn't pay attention to anything like that. Now it's how much you earning and things like that. But just to clarify that, if we earn 8, 9 million over that 5 years, that takes us up to 40, 45 million, which would make it highly profitable. Yeah, that's a wee bit of a sensationalism in terms of, talking up the deal. I understand that, but it is correct to say that it could be. It's not, but it could be if we maximise the potential. I think that's the point. And I think it also highlights as well is what a job James Bisgrove has done in terms of this deal, Craig, because people might look at it and say 15 million straight up, that's not really a lot. We'll journey back to the deal that Murray did with JJB when they paid us up, or JB, I can't remember who it was, when they paid us up 18 million up front. That was based on 3 million a year. We went back to that state from a commercial viewpoint before Bisgrove that was absolutely null and void, where companies just weren't giving us the money we were due. Yeah. So you look at it now of having a guaranteed income of 3 million on top of the potential. I think that's a fantastic deal. I think that James Bisgrove has made a wonderful commercial start to life at Rangers. I know everyone's hugely impressed. He's a hugely intelligent guy. In a couple of weeks, mate, I've got a blog coming out from a commercial friend of mine that works for Real Madrid, previously worked at Juventus and Arsenal, and his insight into James Bisgrove and our deal is incredible. He says commercially it's top notch in terms of where we came from. So I don't think there's any reason to worry about this deal. To reiterate something else that's been in the papers, Castore have nothing to do with Mike Ashley. The backers they do have are incredibly wealthy. People like Andy Murray have signed off this deal. They're excited about it. This is a flagship for them. They have to make it work. They've already put out $3 million a year. They're now guaranteed that, and we're guaranteed that for the next 5 years. If they don't make this work, they've just lost 15 million minimum.
Yeah.
Have to make it work. They're going to make this work, and it's going to benefit everybody. That's why he says it's mutually exclusive for this to do well. So hopefully, mate, that's the proper truth of it out there. That's the proper answers that everybody needs to know. There's no dubiety about this. All this, we're getting skint and we're this and that. We've just had 3 million dropped into the piggy bank last week. So let's move forward. Let's enjoy this. Let's embrace it. See when it comes. Let's buy everything. I'm going to buy everything. See the wee fella. Remember Andre Kanchelskis in his bedroom when he first signed? That's going to, mate, I'm 36. That's going to be me. I'm going to go to work head to toe and all that and this stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. And Castore's a great make as well.
That's one of the things I kept saying on Sunday's video as well with Castore, because some people, again, or even some of the fans were saying, oh, this and this and trying to take digs. It was like, this is a company that's young and hungry and determined to make it in this market. They've put themselves a deal out there now. They're fully focused on us to make us a success, and they're only a success if we are. So I'd much rather have that than a company that's sort of coasting on its laurels and its name. Do you know what I mean? I want someone that's hungry, that's determined, that's got a clear vision, and I absolutely love that. Every single time I see Tom speak, I see James speak, I'm like, I'm getting more hyped up, because I'm like, that's exactly what we need in the right place at the right time now for our football club. We're finally getting that now, and it's amazing. It's brilliant.
I'm going to put it in football terms for you, right? A wee bit. My little cousin, Billy Gilmore, plays for Chelsea, incredibly proud of him, and he's an incredible young man. His dream is to be the best player in the world. His dream isn't to be a good Premiership player. A dream isn't to be the same as Ronaldo. His dream is to be better. His dream is to be the top. He's practiced all his life doing it. So let's look at Castore, whose dream is to be the best British company, the biggest sport manufacturer in the world, the biggest kit retailer, the biggest everything. I would rather have that ambition than somebody who has reached their peak and is happy at their peak, is happy there, and that's where they want to be. Castore are there in terms of Adidas and everything else, but want to be way ahead of them. That for me is exciting. They have to make this work better. That's how sometimes I look at things. As much as I wanted to know about the finances and everything else, CG, I'm just like me and you. You know, I want to know who's signing and things like that. That's my priorities. But Tom actually commented, he was quite funny. He said this the same to Davey on Heart and Hand. He said that when he thought about doing this, he thought it would be cut stuff like what colours are strips, when are we getting them, what's a megastore. We were quizzing them on finances. Could they cope with the potential sales and everything else? And he was like, this is more in depth than you would get. You're the most engaging fan group that I've ever came across in terms of people just want to know when they can get it and what it looks like. User finances, what's the deal, what's the percentages. So in that way, I think that our experiences have switched us on slightly and made us more attuned to what's going on. And if you read anything now in the papers or anything in any blogs or any nonsense, you now know that the truth today has been on Four Lads to Dream blog. It's been on our show today, been on your platform. That's the truth. That's where we are with it.
I absolutely love that, man. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking about the Castore deal. So that should sum up, because Sunday's video, everyone's very excited. But since then, I've seen some comments, and I think we've kind of ticked off every box there that people watching this channel had, and other people has hit me up on social media as wanted. We've kind of covered everything there. So before we actually finish up, there was obviously a wee update yesterday regarding the couple of first-team players that actually left the football club. So we're just going to address that just very, very briefly on the channel, because there were 6 players' time whose time at the club obviously came to an end. We've got Big Fods, who I rate very, very highly. You've got Andy Halliday, who's on the wall. I don't think you can see him with the wait. Actually, maybe if I can move the camera. There he is. He's always there. He'll always be there. Don't worry about that. He'll always be there. Love the lad. You've got other players like Jordan Rossler, who was out on loan. Jason Holt. You've got Flanny Alves, as I like to call him on this channel. John Flanagan. You've got Jan Anik as well. If you've got anything you want to say about these players actually leaving the football club, I wish every single one of them the best. They all came here, they all tried, they worked their arse off, every single one to a man, and I hope they go on and have a successful career, because I think every single one of them will definitely go. They've got the right mentality, and I just thank them obviously for being here and putting in the time and effort. Yes, wasn't maybe as successful as a lot of people wanted or high expectations, but they came here, they worked their arse off, and they played an important role in getting us to where we are now, hopefully can continue to go. What's your thoughts on it, Stevie?
Exact same. Not a bad word to say about any of them. Some it didn't work out for. I mean, Jordan Rossiter has been a hell of an unlucky. I spoke to Gavin Ray on a podcast, and this is a funny thing about Gavin Ray. He said the 3.5 years for Rangers, he was injured the whole time, but then went to Cardiff the year after and played 55 games.
Yep.
Jordan Rossiter will do the exact same thing. I guarantee you. He'll maybe not hit the heights because I think he's got some knee problems and things like that, but I wish him all the best. I think that Fodringham has been a really good keeper for us at the wrong time in a team that defensively was woeful and everything else. But I think that in terms of the games that he's played under Gerrard with a better team and stuff like that, he's always done really well. I would be quite confident if Fodringham stayed as our number one in terms of he would be comfortable with the team we've got now. John Flanagan, again, wasn't really great in terms of attacking and things like that, but defensively solid. At a time last year, he went through a great spell, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 games where he was outstanding, really solid. Again, he goes with my best wishes. Once a Ranger, he'll always be welcome back. The one that I feel most for is Andy Halliday. One of us. I wanted the dream scenario for him of lifting trophies. But he played his part. You can always say he played his part. And I know he'll be devastated. I'm gutted for him. But another thing to tell you about Andy as well is when we were raising a lot of money for Rangers Youth Development, Andy went out of his way to help us signing things and helped us. I think we sold 3 of the big canvases of him and Ryan Jack after the Old Firm and raised, nearly £1,500 as went towards the 13,000 we've given to Rangers Youth Development. Andy's a great guy in terms of that. Happy to speak to you. Loves the club. I hope that Andy's back with us in the terraces watching. He's the one that hurts. He's the one that I'm gutted about the most. I'm not going to go on and talk about was he good enough and things like that. He was one of us. And sometimes in a team that, mate, you go back to the great teams that I watched, the likes of McCall and Ferguson, Goffs and Bombers, Davy McPherson, guys like that who were Rangers boys and really bought into it. Andy Halliday is for that. For me, I'm sad that he's going to be going. I understand it, but I'm definitely sad about it. But also it shows you as well, a wee point on this. The club now, there was not a hint of that anywhere, that statement coming out. The club are now completely different. And this is a point that people need to maybe understand. As a PR group and as what we do now as a fans group as 4 lads, everything's changed now. We work kind of in conjunction with the club and things like that. Days of speculation and breaking news like that isn't going to happen anymore.
Yep.
The time that you will know about the likes of Hadji and things like that is now when he's standing at Ibrox with a scarf above his head. That's when we'll know about it. That's when we'll talk about it. That's the way we're operating now. That's the way it should be. It should be much more open and things like that. The days of Mark Allen basically sitting and telling you that we were signing all these guys and me being able to blog that out is all gone now. Ross Wilson's a very astute operator in how he does things. And we buy into that as well because you want to work with the club in terms of letting them have their moment and things like that. So I'd like to think that out of the blue, we'll just get signings above your head and go from there. But the club also aren't going to come out and rubbish every single player.
They'd be here all day.
God, I would be doing that every 10 minutes. If something's happening, we'll know about it when Rangers say it. I think that's very important to go forward.
Exactly. It's just an exciting time for the football club, even from the Castore thing. It's obviously sad that people are leaving the club, but it's also showing that we're kind of moving in a direction now, and we're trying to being able to make space for other people. We're bringing other people in. It's a football club, something we've been talking about for a long time because we've seen how big our squad is. It was absolutely massive. So it looks like we're moving in the right direction off the park and on the park now, and that's a brilliant thing for us fans.
See, as well, just a small point on these guys that have left and the way I look at it. We were down here, right? But we want to be up here. So in terms of getting up here, you can't do it in one go. Sometimes you have to bridge it and get to that point. These guys have helped do that for us, in my opinion. They're not bad players. They're not bad professionals. By all accounts, they're good players and they are good professionals. But we want to be up here, which means that we need to get, like, our signings this year and our focus need to be not on 10 players or 7 players. It needs to be on 3 or 4 first-team starters. It needs to be on guys that will make the ultimate difference. We don't need a squad anymore. We've got a squad We've got youngsters there. It's the base. We now need first team quality, which I think is where hopefully we're going to see players come in and base it round that. Likes of Hadji last year maybe done a certain job in a position, but if we're investing in him, for example, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we're investing on him, he's going to then be the focal point, the number 10. He's going to be the one that you base everything round then and make it work. Likes of the other guys that come in. That's where we need to be. We don't need squad players anymore, in my opinion, mate. And that's where we need to be. And I think that's the direction we'll see this summer. It might not be vast. It might be loans and things, but they're going to be key players that go straight into the first team. We need that. I think we're a good side, but I think we're the next step away from being a consistently good side that wins games at Tynecastle and things like that, which will not be this year with them, but but you know my point I'm making in terms of we're talking about football, mate. It's just so exciting.
It's brilliant, mate. That's why I'm sitting with a big smile face. It just feels so good to be able to talk about player positions and everything.
Right, exactly. So you look at it in terms of like Helander maybe coming back in from injury. He was such a key player stat-wise and also a key thing for him. If you look back in our goal in Porto, he's one of the very few that can come out from the back and play a pass.
Exactly.
And a direct pass and do it well. We know that Goldson can play a long pass, but he's quite erratic. Helander and Goldson together, stat-wise, was incredibly good. So him coming back into the team with a good pre-season, pre-season will probably be about 9 months. But in terms of that, we should be we should be ready to go. If you put another 3 key players around that, say Hadji, midfielder, a winger, I don't know where we're going to go. I genuinely don't know what we've got planned. But if we do that, then I think that's where we need to go to. I'm certainly not thinking we'll spend millions of pounds. I don't think that's the case with everything that's going on. But I think, without doubt, we are going to make signings. Hopefully, they'll be big, exciting ones. I just think they need to be key ones this time. So, what do you think? Well, let's hear what do you think of that. So,
I'm kind of saying the same. I actually replied to a comment last night exactly the same with Hollander there, Tom, because someone was saying, do you think we need to be bringing in another centre half, looking at our options? I was like, well, Hollander didn't get a pre-season. He was obviously signed in the season. I think a good pre-season, get him in there. Obviously, he missed a large majority of last season because of an injury. I think you give him time, and I really believe it. I think Connor Goldson and Hollander will make a very strong partnership. We've seen it against, especially some of the European games, up against very talented forwards with very worth a lot of money. And I thought the two of them worked very, very well with each other. And that was on just kind of a short time together. If you give them longer, I think that is a partnership we can believe in. But regarding the recruitment, I'm the exact same as you now. I'm seeing the pieces now. I think we've got a spine in our team. We just need the difference makers now. We're not needing someone to come in for 3 games a season or something like that. We need that in the game in the 78th minute who's going to be the game changer. When stuff isn't going right, they can roll up their sleeves and be the difference. I think that is what we're going for, is everything that's looking it looks like we're moving away from just a big squad to sharpening it and getting the people and getting the difference makers. And I think that is what we're going to be going forward.
We need the 3 vital components of our team that will pitch in with 10 goals. That's the difference that we don't have. I don't like talking about other teams, but other teams have players in there that can get 7, 8, 9 goals that make the absolute world of difference. We don't have that, and we need to get that. So that's the challenge for them. And I also think it's worth saying as well, we cannot, people are saying, to rip it up and things like that. I don't think we can afford to rip it up. If you rip it up and it doesn't work, then we maybe have to replace a management, dare I say it, if it doesn't work again. The management are built for this. They're on course of where they want to be in terms of squad and everything else. So this is the last move for them, I think.
I believe so.
Putting everything in place, and then you can say, right, well, we are where we want to be. Let's get it done. So it's big summer for them. Hopefully they get it right. I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think that I'm looking forward to hopefully some key signings, and just as you said, I think we've sharpened down. Big thanks to those boys that have left. Not a bad word to say about any of them. It's exciting to talk about football and signings and things again, definitely.
Hello.
Youngest member of the nation, mate.
I love that. Thank you. That's incredible. Oh, he's actually there.
Way to break something.
That's him. I love that, mate. But I just want to give a massive thanks for coming on. It's been a great, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's flew by, mate. I really appreciate you coming on, speaking about it, breaking about the Castore thing, talking a wee bit of football at the end there as well, Steve. It's always a pleasure.
I'm all happy, mate. I'm all buzzing after talking about the football.
I know,
miss it so much.
It's definitely, mate, and I can't wait to go on and speak about other things in the upcoming weeks and months for you as well, Steve. It'll be fun and interesting time. But I want to tell the people that's going to be watching, maybe they haven't seen the blog or anything like that. Again, it will be down in the description, but tell them where they can find you on the internet.
So basically, to find us, just go on to Google, Bing, whatever your search engine is, and type Four Lads Had a Dream blog. It'll bring it up. You can subscribe in the bottom, join the other kind of 50,000 subscribers, which means you get every blog like today with Tom Behon from Castore. You would get that straight to your email. You can read it. We're also on Twitter for Four Lads Had a Dream. That's basically how you find us, I think. So,
and you also appear on the Jersnet podcast as well.
Yeah, Jersnet host our podcast with us. Stuart Franklin over there and the boys, they do really well. I can't edit and all that, CG. I'm hopeless at that sort of stuff. I record it, they clean it up and make me sound good. So that's what they do. You can find us obviously on Jersnet, and on, if you've got like Apple, iTunes or whatever you listen to your music on, if you type in Jersnet, you'll find all the Four Lads Had a Dream podcast. We've had guys like Stevie Smith, Neil Alexander, Derek Johnston. More recently, we've had Ian Ferguson, we've had Stuart McCall, Alex McLeish, and then last week we had Amaruso and Shot Arveladze in 1 week, which was just incredible. See, for me as a wee guy, I'm fans of all these guys, so to speak to them, the live kind of Instagram chat with Amaruso was incredible when he started dropping all the F-bombs about Advocat and stuff. I was sitting laughing. So, as I said, please, I think that it's important now, like fan media is the way forward now, so let's support it. And I love doing this for you. We're going to do this every couple of weeks, every month, wherever it is. When the football starts back, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to discuss, a lot more exciting stuff, hopefully. So yeah, I mean, we'll be doing this collab every so often, and hopefully people enjoy it. And give us some good feedback and let us know what they want us to talk about, and let us know what they want to know from the club, because maybe then we can go and find it out and tell them what they want to know, and then we can there. But looking forward to it, mate. I'm ignoring everything else and the stitch ups and everything else that's went on, concentrating on Rangers. I think we should all do that. Castore, Steven Gerrard, signings that are coming in. It's an exciting time. Let's embrace it and look forward to it.
Absolutely, mate. And as always, I've been Siege Over 92. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's special video with Stevie from Four Lads Had a Dream. Again, his link will be down there in the description below. Take it easy, lads. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. And bye.